Welcome. I'm Yvonne Davis, and today is Saturday, November 21st, 2020. So, before I get started on the charts, I just want to say if you're new to my channel or haven't yet subscribed, please click on the red button in the corner and subscribe to my channel. It's a way of supporting me, very simple way, and also helps to build the channel, create community, and get the word out. So I really appreciate it. Thank you for subscribing. And also, if you would be willing to go over and subscribe to my Financial Freedom channel, I would really appreciate that too. There's a link in the description box below and at the end of this video. And if you go over to that channel and subscribe, that will help me build that channel. Again, it's just a very super easy, simple, free way to support my work. And I really appreciate it. So thank you so much for doing that. All right, so in terms of the charts that we're going to be looking at today, I need to address a few things that came up in my last video where I did a solar return chart for Joe Biden. So sometimes, because this is so ingrained in me, I have to remind myself that most of my viewers do not understand astrology. They're either beginners or don't know anything about it. And so I have to, be careful to make sure I'm making everything completely clear. So I needed to basically clear up some confusion that my last video created. Okay, so this is Joe Biden's chart. He was born on November 20th, 1942 at 8:30 a.m. wartime in Scranton, Pennsylvania. So this is his birth chart. We also call it a natal chart. And what I did yesterday was called a solar return chart, which is a different kind of predictive chart that astrologers use. And basically the way you create a solar return chart is you create a chart for the very moment that the sun returns to the exact location it was at when that person was born. And you set the chart for wherever they are at that moment. Okay, so I created a solar return chart for the sun at 27 degrees of Scorpio, 34 minutes, because that's where it was when he was born. And this was for 2020. So this is a solar return chart for 2020, meaning that the sun returns to the exact position it was at birth. But when you create a solar return chart, which by the way is only good for 1 year, so I set it for his birthday 2020, and it'll last until his birthday on 2021. And it's a predictive chart for the year. It tells you what kind of year a person is going to have. But when you create a solar return chart, you set it for the location that they are at that moment in time when the sun returns to the exact position it was at birth. He lives in Delaware, and so I think it's safe to assume he was in Delaware because the sun returned to the exact position at 5:39:04 a.m. It actually happened a day earlier than his birthday, which is November 20th, but that happens sometimes. And so I assume that at 5:39:04 a.m. on November 19th, 2020, he was at home in Delaware. Okay, that's my assumption. Now, if that's incorrect, then it could slightly alter the solar return chart, but the only thing it would alter is the ascendant. And I think it is safe to assume that he was at home in Delaware when the sun returned to the position of his birth. So that means that this chart would be accurate with the ascendant at 12 degrees of Scorpio, 15 minutes, and Mercury conjunct the ascendant. So anyway, I'm not going to read the chart because I did that in my last video. So if you want to see that, you can go back and watch that. But I just wanted to clear that up because a lot of people were apparently very confused because they kept saying, no, he was born in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Why did she put Wilmington, Delaware? That's because the way you do a solar return chart is you take the place that they are at the very moment that the sun returns to the place it was at birth. And so I'll show you that really quickly, and then we'll get on to what I'm going to do in today's chart. So you can see that the outer chart is his solar return chart, and the sun was at 27 degrees Scorpio, 34 minutes, which is the exact location of his birth. It was at 27 degrees Scorpio, 34 minutes. Okay. But again, you place the solar return chart wherever the person is at the moment that the sun returns, which I assume was in Delaware. And it doesn't matter if it's a different town, that's close enough. We're not, we're looking for basically for the longitude and latitude. It doesn't have to be exact, it's close enough. But I felt like Delaware was better than Pennsylvania. So, okay, so that's the explanation of that. So now I want to get on to talk about today's video, which is Trump is terrified. And so this brings up some more topics, which is that yesterday I did a video on the 23rd of November, because that, and I showed how that's the day when we're going to have a lot of these elections certified by the states. So I think I'll just pull that up really quickly and put a link in the description box below. So let me do that really quickly. Okay, so I'll take you over to the web page called Ballotpedia. And so they update this on a regular basis. And so now election result certification dates have passed in 15 states. So it's fair to assume that they met their deadlines and they did certify their elections in 15 states. And then the next ones will come up, the next deadlines will come up on November 23rd. I think this is so easy. It's just so easy to see at a glance. These are all the ones that are already done. These are the ones that have yet to be done. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on Monday, which is really interesting because Pennsylvania is one of them that will certify on Monday. And basically once that's done, there's just, I keep saying it, it's mathematically impossible for Trump to turn this around. There's nothing he can do. There are just too many. There are 50 states, that are certifying. He can't go, he'd have to get so many states to either refuse to certify or do something. I don't know what he expects them to do. The election is over. The ballots have been counted. Certification is just basically a formality. And it's going to happen with these 5 states on Monday, including Pennsylvania and Michigan and Maine, which all went to Biden. And so basically after that, it's just a formality. There's literally nothing he can do to change this. It's over. So, and I showed you the chart in yesterday's video. So if you haven't seen it, you can go watch it. So, because I'm not going to redo the reading of Biden's solar return chart or November 23rd. You can go back and watch that. Today, I'm going to do something different. So I'll pull up the chart. And we are going to look at the next most important event. And, I can come back and I can do videos. I already did the 23rd yesterday. I can come back and do the 24th, the 25th, whatever, because there will be more days where states are certifying their election. Every day that passes is like a nail in the coffin of that alternate false reality that some people are still clinging to. And someone wrote in the comments, in yesterday's video, time will tell. That's true. Time will tell. But this is part of what we like our karma in this nation right now is to work through this issue of divergent realities, false realities, and get that benefit of Saturn and Aquarius, which will lock down the truth and will help us to get to the facts and science and not alternate fake realities. Okay, so let me go ahead and set this chart for Washington, D.C. All right, so then, like I said, I can come back and I can do more charts for the 24th, 25th, whatever. But the really important date that sort of sets everything in stone is the Sagittarius Gemini full moon eclipse, which is on November 30th at 4:30 a.m. in Washington, D.C. And this is the most important one because by the time we get to November 30th, there are some states that still have deadlines in December, but most of them will be done by November 30th. Enough that, you know, it's like, this is it, okay? The facts are the facts. So the full moon eclipse brings things to an end, a completion, a finality. An eclipse is much more, is 3 times more powerful than a regular full moon. So all full moons bring things to an end, a conclusion, a finality, fruition, culmination. That's what they do. Full moon eclipse is 3 times more powerful. So it doesn't just bring something to a conclusion. It's actually like the closing of one chapter so that we can begin a new chapter. Okay. So this can bring profound life changes. And basically, that's the meaning of a full moon eclipse. And it also depends on how it lands on someone's chart. And I thought that the most interesting configuration that I saw when I was looking at this chart was the way it lands on the US Declaration of Independence chart. And so let's go ahead and look at that. You can see it's right over the nation's ascendant. This is the first house, the ascendant, which is like the personality of the nation. It's the nation's self. And the sun is conjunct the ascendant. And as I've said many, many times, the sun and the south node represent Biden, okay? And then over here, Uranus in Gemini is the Trump energy at this particular time in our nation's history. The full moon is bringing things to a conclusion, okay, an ending. And so I know that I think probably what's happening right now is that there are a lot of people out there who like maybe go and you pay attention to the news, or maybe some of you are actually looking at other astrologers, tarot readers, psychics, prophets, whatever. And there are still probably a large number of astrologers, prophets, psychics, tarot readers who said that Trump would win. And now they're trying to say time will tell. Okay. That somehow they think that their prediction's still can come true, and they're not willing to just acknowledge that they were wrong, just like Trump's not willing to acknowledge he lost. But it's true. Time will tell. Every single day that passes, that truth is locked into place, that Trump lost the election. He lost the popular vote by somewhere around 6 million votes, and he lost the electoral college vote, 306 for Biden, 232 for Trump. And every day that passes, you know, more of the formalities are completed. So every day that passes, more of the states certify their elections. And this is it. This is basically the energy that says, okay, we're done. We're done, you know, face reality. It's over. Biden won. This is Biden, the sun in the south node, conjunct the ascendant. Trump lost. This is Trump. Actually, these are both Trump. Trump is Mars with the north node, conjunct Mars. The vertex is fate. So, you know, I'm always fascinated. I mean, this is what fascinates me about astrology, is not just that you can make predictions, but that, like, the reason why it works is because there is an aspect of predetermination. Some things are just fated, they're karmic. And the North Node conjunct the vertex, this is fated, this is karmic. This is Trump. The North Node on Mars is Trump. The full moon eclipse in Gemini on Uranus and Gemini, this is Trump, okay? But this is the ending. This is the finality. This is the culmination. This is the closing of one chapter so that a new chapter can open. And so I just want to be really clear for those of you who are watching other astrologers, psychics, prophets, tarot readers who are continuing to say that they're not wrong. They didn't predict it wrong. Trump's still going to pull this out somehow. It's not over till it's over. Time will tell. Okay, fine. You know, today as I'm making this video, it's the 21st of November. So we've got about 9 or 10 days left until this full moon. I guess that would be 9 days. And so if you need another 9 days to come to terms with reality, that's fine. But I'm telling you, and also, you know, if you're watching all the crazy stuff in the news that Trump and Giuliani and some of those other Trumpster types are doing, I'm telling you, this is over, okay? The full moon eclipse is right over the Uranus Gemini in Gemini. That's Trump. It's over, okay? That door is closing. He's eclipsed out of the picture. He's done. He's going out. He's out. He's eclipsed out of the picture. He's out of the White House. He's done. He's over. The door is closing. The last nail is in the coffin. It's done. It's over. And that is the reality. And so, you know, I hope those of you who are watching my channel are relieved to know this, but I'm sure there will probably be some people who still can't face reality. And there's no arguing with them, you know. Reality will become reality in a way that is so blatant and obvious that there's just no denying it anymore, unless you're insane and psychotic and, you know, delusional. So that's it. That's the full moon. And that brings it to an end. Then the next one will be the new moon eclipse, which brings in something new. But I don't want this to get too long. I am sometimes so obsessed with astrology that my videos can get pretty long. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this to a close. And by the way, as I said, this is Trump is terrified because he knows the truth, you know. As a lot of people have pointed out, it's not that he actually thinks he can turn this around. He knows he can't. He knows. It has more to do with the fact that he can use this, as long as he can string people along with this fantasy of somehow he's going to be able to turn things around. He can continue to pull in money. And that's all this is for him, really. It's just an opportunity to make a money grab. And so, you know, and it's sad because he's taking advantage of, and he's always done that. That's always been his modus operandi, is to take advantage of people's hopes and fears and twist their fears into creating some kind of alternate reality where he's their savior. And you know, it's whatever. It's hard for me to even try to explain what goes on in their minds, because it's It's so far out there, so far from reality, the actual reality. And when Saturn finally moves into Aquarius, that's when the energy will shift, and there will be a focus on science and knowledge and information and facts. So Saturn in Aquarius. And it's also interesting that this is the third house of the United States, because I think you will absolutely be blown away by the way things will shift when Saturn goes into Aquarius. Now, we may experience a lockdown because that's what happened in April when Saturn went into Aquarius before it retrograded back into Capricorn. So yes, we may experience another lockdown. We may even experience, because of that, maybe some kind of crash or dip in the stock market. So if that's something that you pay attention to, then you can be aware that this is what I'm predicting, is that there's a high probability that when Saturn shifts out of Capricorn and into Aquarius, that we will shift into more of what we will call a lockdown, and that may trigger a stock market dip or a stock market crash. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, exactly that moment. I'm just saying that shift will shift the energy, which will begin to lead to a lockdown. It may happen immediately. I don't know how long it will take, but that's the direction that we're moving in. And then when Jupiter comes in, especially after Jupiter separates from Saturn in Aquarius, then, and I should probably go ahead and, since I'm on the topic, go ahead and bring up the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction so you can actually see that on the chart. So this happens on the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction at 0 degrees of Aquarius happens on December 21st. And again, it's not going to be easy when it first happens. It probably will lead to a lockdown, and that may trigger, like I said, a stock market dip or crash. So it'll be a bit challenging at first, but then when Jupiter begins to separate from Saturn, and Biden is inaugurated, there will be an initial civil unrest and violence because of the fact that certain people who've been living in an alternate reality will have to face reality, and they won't like it. And so we'll have to face that. But eventually, the further Jupiter moves away from Saturn and moves out of a square to Uranus, it'll be freed up in that Aquarian energy, and then it will be able to really, really let loose its benefic energy and its gifts that it brings. And the gifts that it will bring will have to have everything to do with Aquarius, meaning science, humanity, progressive policies, information. So as an example, one of the outcomes would be that the vaccine would become available to people. Okay, that would be one of the benefits of Jupiter in Aquarius. Once it's separated away from Saturn and out of the square to Uranus, then its energy is completely freed up to do all the good beneficial things it can do in Aquarius. So, and then the Saturn effect in Aquarius, Saturn will be there for 2.5 years in Aquarius in the third house of the United States. What that means is the third house is communication. Saturn is precision. Saturn is facts. I've said that many, many times. Saturn is just the facts, ma'am. We want precision. That's what Saturn wants. Okay. Saturn doesn't fudge around with reality, doesn't fudge around with the truth. Saturn is like boundaries, facts, just the facts, ma'am. Science. So precision. So with Saturn in the third house Aquarius, It will all be about getting precision in terms of facts, communication, information. That's, I mean, 2.5 years with Saturn in Aquarius is just going to be so amazing, so helpful for getting back to what reality actually is, for getting back to the facts, for getting back to, you know, science, not science as a religion, science as a process of seeking facts, a process of seeking truth, okay, and precision and boundaries and shared reality, consensus reality. Because remember, Aquarius is also humanity, okay? So this is going to be really awesome. After everything we've been through, it's just Saturn for 2.5 years in third house Aquarius. It's just going to be such a relief, such a relief. It may start out a little bumpy there right at the beginning, but it will get better as Jupiter moves through Aquarius and then as Saturn moves through Aquarius. It'll get so much better, so much better. So I'm really looking forward to that. All right, so that's it for today's video. And as always, if you haven't yet subscribed, please click on the red button and subscribe to my channel. And thank you for liking this video. And also, as I said, if you're willing to go over to my Financial Freedom channel, there's a link in the description box below, and there's a link at the end of this video. It's a multicolored diamond. The channel is called Financial Freedom. And I really want to get over there and start uploading more videos. And so that my goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers so I can monetize the channel, because, you know, it's nice to get paid for the work you do. We all need to get paid for the work we do. So, and I want to share a lot of information with people about how to become self-employed, how to do work that you love. You know, I was on that journey. I reached my goal of being able to be self-employed and do work that I love. And so I want to share everything I know with other people. So if you're interested in that information, please go over there and subscribe to the channel and watch the videos. And if you just want to support me, it's a very simple, free, easy way to support the work that I do. And I really, really appreciate that. So thank you. All right, that's it for today. And I will see you again in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.